This is an ABP Life podcast.
People say space is endless, but I say Indian Railway is endless. Well, almost. There was a time when the Indian Railways was used by the British to drain our resources. But today, it is the country's principal mode of transportation for both people and goods. 90% of India's population use the Indian Railways as their primary mode of transportation, with over 67.956 million meters of track length. The Indian Railways covers the length and breadth of the country. And even after such a feat, the Indian Railway is constantly expanding. Recently, the Indian Railways got the new fleet of Vande Bharat Express, which clocks a speed of 130 kilometers per hour. The Vande Bharat Express was very well received by the passengers. And now the Indian Railways has announced something even more astonishing. You know how a bike tilts whenever there's a turn, right? Now imagine a train, a full-fledged train tilting at turns. How bonkers would that be? Well, we're going to experience something like this very soon. The Indian Railways has announced that it will introduce tilting trains in India by 2025 to 26. Well, honestly, it's no rocket science, as it already exists in 11 countries. But in India, where trains are the lifeline of long travel, it's going to be a big deal for us. So, what exactly are tilting trains? How does it exactly work? And why do we need them now? Let's decode all of this today. So welcome to Clear Cut, only on ABP Live podcast. This is your newsman Rudrashish, and today let's talk about tilting trains. So let's get started. So, as I said earlier, tilting trains is no rocket science. It's been in existence since 1956, and currently 11 countries have tilting trains. But as I said, for us it's special. Now, what exactly is tilting train? So I believe all of you have been on a train ride, right? Now, whenever a train takes a turn, when there's a curve ahead, the passengers in the train feel like they're moving. Like the passengers sitting will feel the turn. The passengers who are standing will feel like they're losing the balance, right? Now, high-speed trains like Vande Bharat require straight tracks or tracks that have large curves. So if a high-speed train takes a sudden turn due to a curve, the passengers might feel the jerk, and in worst case scenario, the train can even go off the track. Tilting trains is a solution to this problem. Tilting trains have the mechanism to make turns at high speed, causing no discomfort to the passengers, and with no danger of skidding off the railway track. So instead of just building straight tracks, which is not possible, or to design tracks with large curves, which is very expensive, putting this tilting technology in trains is the best option. Now, how does this technology work? Now, when a train takes a turn on a curve, the seated passenger feels squashed by the armrest. They shift sides. Standing passengers tend to lose their balance. The tilting technology in train will prevent this. Just like when a bike or a cycle tilts at a curve, trains will tilt just like that to prevent the movement of passengers. The coaches will have a motion control technology, a suspension that will let the bogie to tilt towards the curve of the track, causing no discomfort to the passengers. This will also help the train to make turns at curves even at higher speed. Now you all might be thinking, a superfast train tilting at curves, how safe will this be? Now, as I had said, tilting trains are currently operational in 11 countries, namely Italy, Portugal, Slovenia, Finland, Russia, the Czech Republic, UK, Switzerland, China, Germany and Romania. So India is not the first country to experiment this. This is a tried and tested technology. The first ever tilting trains were made by an American railroad manufacturing company, which eventually became the first ever commercial tilting train. Then in 1973, Japan introduced a large series of tilting trains. And soon, Spanish National Railways introduced it as well. Now, you might be thinking, why do we need tilting trains? Now, I would say that Indian Railways has a very decorated history. We all know that. But the Indian Railways is also known for being awfully late. I mean, I've traveled a lot by train, and most of the time it was at least 3 to 4 hours late. Now, a tilting train will have an advantage. Tilting trains are lighter in weight, which will result in better acceleration, reducing the journey time. It will also help in making sharp turns at high speed, causing no discomfort to passengers. But, there's a catch. According to a study published in the National Library of Medicine, tilting trains can cause motion sickness or can cause passengers to vomit. Now, this is an aspect that needs to be further studied. Now, according to the Indian Railways, 100 Vande Bharat trains manufactured by 2025 will be getting the tilting technology. Once this technology is implemented, Vande Bharat trains can clock a speed of 180 kilometers per hour. And now to explain further on this, we have Professor Nadeem Hassan from Aligarh Muslim University who explains us how this tilt technology actually works. So welcome to Clear Cut, sir. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you very much for giving me a chance to come to the show.
Sure, sir. Now, the government has announced that by 2025, there will be 100 Vande Bharat trains which will be tilting. जब टर्न आएगा रेलवे ट्रैक्स पे तब ये ट्रेन टिल्ट होंगे एंड दीज ट्रेन्स विल बी लाइट इन वेट एंड कैन टेक टर्न्स इवन ऑन हाई स्पीड. बहुत ज्यादा स्पीड पे भी ये आराम से टर्न ले पाएंगे रेलवे ट्रैक्स पे. सो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज दिस टिल्टिंग टेक्नोलॉजी?
See, this tilting technology is very old. It started in 1930s. And it is currently around 11 countries are there who use this kind of a technology. See what happens if the train is very speed, is of a very high is running at a very high speed. If you try to tilt or negotiate a curve in such a track, so you turn, you have to turn this. So just like in a car or on a bicycle, when you try to negotiate a curve at a high speed, you need to tilt your bicycle to control the what you can call centripetal acceleration of that. Okay, so that force which comes to this. So this tilting train, what it does, it changes its orientation by 6 to 8 degrees, so that the force, the lateral force which is experienced by the persons who are inside the track, inside the car, car means the train's car, or the objects which are there, is countered by this motion, so that it doesn't appear to change its orientation.
Like जब बाइक टिल्ट होता है तो वो कंसिडरेबली बहुत ज्यादा हिस्सा नीचे के साइड आ जाता है. तो when we are talking about trains, क्या ट्रेन भी मतलब अगर टिल्ट लेफ्ट की तरफ है तो मतलब राइट का पोर्शन ट्रेन का उठ जाएगा ऊपर की तरफ?
जी.
ओके
एग्जैक्टली. तो वो थोड़ा सा आप उठाएंगे, ज्यादा नहीं होगा. मतलब इट वोंट भी ऐसा लगे कि 30 डिग्री से टर्न कर गया, जबकि कार और बाइक्स में या साइकिल्स में तो आप कितना भी कर सकते हो. दिस विल बी अराउंड 6 to 8 डिग्रीज. नॉर्मली दैट इज व्हाट वी डू.
अब ये भी बताया जा रहा है कि जो पैसेंजर्स ट्रेन के अंदर होंगे, जो बैठे होंगे, खड़े होंगे, दे वोंट फील द टिल्ट और दे वोंट फील द टर्न ऑफ द ट्रेन. ये कैसे पॉसिबल?
अगर वो फील करने लगेंगे तो फिर तो फायदा ही कोई नहीं ना. अगर वो उनको ये पता चल जाएगा कि नहीं, मतलब फील का मतलब अगर उनको ये मतलब अगर भाई देखिए कैसे फील होगा, मतलब थोड़ा सा तो टिल्ट होगा और टिल्ट होने के बाद जो है वो फोर्स को निगोशिएट करना होता है. ठीक है ना. तो फोर्स अगर निगोशिएट हो करने के लिए ही ये एक्शन है, तो जो एक्शन है उसी का अपोजिट बेसिकली रिएक्शन करना है. So that is why we are tilting it. अच्छा, लेकिन जो अंदर में लोग बैठे रहते हैं उनको कई बार लोग कहते हैं कि there is some kind of a motion sickness which they feel.
हाँ, exactly. This was my another question. ये मेरा एक last question था, but since you mentioned दो पॉइंट्स है मेरे। एक तो ये बहुत नया कॉन्सेप्ट है इंडियन रेलवे के लिए, और बिलियंस ऑफ पीपल जो डेली इंडियन रेलवे को यूज करते हैं उनके लिए ये एक लाइफलाइन है। सो हाउ सेफ इज दिस टेक्नोलॉजी, दिस टिल्टिंग टेक्नोलॉजी?
See, it is not very. It is very common. In 1930s, since 1930s, this technology has been used. But it is, it gives you the Switzerland, which probably uses it most. Around 9% उनको फायदा हो रहा था इस टेक्नोलॉजी को यूज करने से। मतलब उनकी एफिशिएंसी बढ़ जाती है सिस्टम्स की जो वो यूज करते हैं। तो इसको में कोई घाटा नहीं है, और बल्कि हमें फायदा ही है। भाई आपको अगर इफ यू हैव टू गो फ्रॉम नॉर्मली द बुलेट ट्रेन और द हाई स्पीड लाइक semi high speed train like Vande Mataram, they don't have too much of turns in their tracks. It's normally straight kind of a tracks. The bullet trains normally run at a very high speed, but they have to go with a same single track, so they can't negotiate normally a turn. So अगर आप high speed पे you are able to turn, अगर high speed पे you are able to turn, then you basically you work at a higher speed, so the average speed which basically increases from one place to the other, so therefore the efficiency of the system increases. और कोई problem नहीं है ये, this has been used for lots of time, so it's a perfectly safe system to use.
And sir, lastly ये बोला जा रहा है कि tilting trains में passengers को motion sickness होता है, they vomit, they experience motion sickness. तो ये फिनोमेना क्यों होता है, ये प्रॉब्लम क्यों होता है?
भाई वो मोशन तो हो रहा है ना, आपको फील नहीं हो रहा, लेकिन वो मोशन सिस्टम तो हो ही रहा है ना। सो दैट हैपेंस है ना। देयर हैव बीन स्टडीड बाय लॉट ऑफ प्रोफेसर्स फ्रॉम 1968 से लेकर के, so where they have quantified what type of motion sickness is there.
Okay.
So that happens and that is depends upon some person to person. Like जैसे आप कार में आप जाते हो ना, तो बहुत से लोगों को वोमिटिंग होती है मोशन की वजह से।
तो ये क्या स्पीड की वजह से होता है या टिल्ट की वजह से होता है?
नहीं, टिल्ट ही के है, वैसे टिल्ट ही का रिलेशनशिप है, क्योंकि एकदम से लेटरल फोर्स लगती है ना उस बंदे के ऊपर थोड़ी बहुत, तो काउंटरएक्ट हो रहा है, लेकिन टाइम लगता है ना। सी जैसे ये there are two types of technologies again there, active and passive tilting technologies. तो इनमें क्या होता है कि आप थोड़ा बहुत ना रिलेटिव लैगिंग रहती है, मतलब कंट्रोल को आने में थोड़ा टाइम लगता है, तो उस टाइम को लगने की वजह से there is some kind of a motion sickness which is felt. That has been normally the case with the authors which say.
Okay. Well, sir, thank you so much for your time. It was lovely speaking to you. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
So that's all the news and scoops I have for you today. This episode was produced by Lalit. This is your newsman Rudrashish Kanjilal signing off. Have a wonderful day ahead and keep listening to ABP Live podcasts.
This is an ABP Live podcast.